Hey guys, I want to bring you another NFL video documentary of a football life on Tiki Barber and Ronde Barber. So I didn't think this was the best one out there. I guess because it was so recent and you kind of knew what was going on. And nothing new or nothing establishing out of this, revealing out of it. So here's what I kind of thought was interesting. Their dad left them at a young age because of drugs, and he had so many complications with his life. So they were raised by their single mom. They didn't go against competition against each other, so they kind of was kind of like their moral support and like their spouse in that sense, kind of like, hey, these twins are very close with a tight bond with a special way of communicating, and they even have their own language. Like, I heard their friends didn't even know what they were talking about. Sometimes they would giggle and stuff like that, nod, and kind of like, okay, I know what you're talking about, I understand you better than maybe your wife or significant other. So they didn't want to go against each other. So what did they mean by that? So if they were wrestling, they would go different weight classes. If they were going to do track and field, they would do different events of track and field. If they were doing football, which is a great example, one would play offense, one would play defense on that same team. That was interesting. And then Ronde Barber actually, and I forgot about this, they almost got close on playing in the same city by playing in New York. And what they were saying was that, hey, we wanted to play in New York together, but Jason Sehorn took the max deal and got re-signed by the Giants. And obviously at the time Ronde Barber wasn't playing well yet, and so that's what happened. That kind of closed the door on them reuniting in that sense. So they also have different ways of preparing. Tiki kind of distracts his mind with other stuff, like he was building a news reporter or in media in that sense while he was playing. So he's like Brandon Marshall of this age, if you think of it that way. And then Ronde Barber was more quiet and reserved and was more focused on how to get better with deep thinking in film, and that was his way of improving that way. So they prep a different way. The other thing was that I thought was interesting is that Tiki Barber obviously retired at a younger age than Ronde. Tiki was drafted in the second round, Ronde in the third round. In 2010, Tiki Barber cheated on his wife, and while she was pregnant. So it was with the news anchor that was an intern at the time when Tiki was working for NBC. So obviously with that media and outlook and all that, they let him go because it's bad publicity in that sense. And a lot of people would have compared him, what Tiki did, to his wife and kids, to his what his dad did on leaving. So yes, both of them left in that sense, but in different circumstances. The dad left because of drugs problems and issues like that. Tiki's sense was more of, hey, I got things going on. I'm not. We're drifting apart with my wife and all that. And he said that, hey, I was staying with my wife because for my kids, and so nobody was happy in that marriage in that sense. So that's what he was saying, and obviously they're saying, well, they were drifting apart, so they were already on the ropes of divorcing already in that sense. But it just really looked bad in PR and stuff like that. So obviously Ronde stood by him. Then Ronde retired in 2013. Tiki retired in 2007, but that year, that last game. So the weird thing, and I remember this, was that he kind of announced that he was retiring midway in the season, and that's when news broke out that he was going to retire at the end of the season. Last game, people were chanting for Tiki, and he played really well. Lost against Philadelphia, retired that way. No big press conference or anything like that. And then he goes to work for NBC Sports and rips the New York Giants, like Eli Manning, the organization, and Antonio Pierce doesn't like what's going on, and so obviously he leaves them, and so Tiki Barber goes back for the Ring of Honor and stuff like that, and gets booed by the New York Giants, obviously, for good reasons too, because he ripped them, and so in the end, it just seems like Tiki Barber career down the stretch should have been remembered more, not about his personal life. Um, it was different. Ronde Barber started off slow with his career and then flourished at the end, and his private life was quiet. And he had a nice long career, got a Super Bowl win, and all that. Wow, Tiki did not. The sad thing is, Tiki Barber, if he stayed for another year, he could have maybe won a Super Bowl. And he ripped the way Eli Manning was managing his team and lead his team. So I don't know. It's just kind of coincidence that hey, the Giants win a Super Bowl without Tiki Barber, one of their leading rushers. I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd, and people booing him at the last season and all that. Whenever he goes back, I don't think I remember any type of player being booed like that, and have all these fans used to love them so much. So maybe the closest thing is Don McNabb. So, or Brett Favre, I guess. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe on what you thought of this video. And if you had a chance to watch this football life on Tiki and Ronde Barber, I wouldn't say it's the best football life, but it was kind of interesting if you haven't seen it for a while. Alright, thanks.